Yesterday, here on the couch in the studio, we discussed an Alexandria mom who was speaking out after an FBI agent scolded her for leaving her kids in the car while she went inside and shopped.
Julie Gunlock, a self-proclaimed free-range parent, recently wrote an article titled, "You Can Leave Your Kids in the Car and Don't Let the FBI Tell You Otherwise." The piece has been generating a lot of buzz, and today we have Julie with us to talk more about this hot-button issue. Julie, thanks for being here. I have to tell you, all of us, the whole team, parents and non-parents, have some strong feelings about this.
Yes, and I understand that. I think that people do react emotionally and passionately to this issue, and frankly, when they see, for instance, my children sitting in the car for a little while, I think our culture says that that's not allowed. But my children are older and they know what to do, and I trust them to take care of themselves. And I think parents know their children. They know their children best. And so this idea that children can't be left unattended for a short amount of time is absurd. I think we should be giving children more control, more freedom. It's good for them. It's developmentally good for them. And again, I think parents need to make that choice for themselves based on their own children.
And to follow up to make sure everyone understands, if you didn't see yesterday's show, the issue again was in Alexandria, in a shopping center. You went inside a supermarket for about 15 minutes, left your 3 kids, the oldest 9 years old, in the car.
And on a cool day with the windows down.
It was not hot. It wasn't a situation.
Exactly.
And when you came out, a plainclothes off-duty FBI agent was kind of standing, kind of watching guard over your kids, and then
he sort of scolded me, and I told him I wasn't doing anything wrong. And according to Virginia law, I'm not doing anything wrong. I am allowed to make that decision, again, based on my children and based on my parenting style.
And he tried to say you broke the law, which is not true.
Yeah, he did. He said you are not permitted to do this, and I knew that was incorrect. I knew that I am permitted to do that, that it's within my rights. And look, I do encourage people, look, there's a website called freerangekids.org, and you can go on her, and it's run by a woman named Lenore Skenazy, who sort of founded the free range parent movement. I have been a follower of hers for years, and that's why I knew my rights. But you can go on her website and click on your state and find out what are the laws, because you need to be careful. There are some states that have much more stringent laws about this. And so I don't want to get anyone in trouble and say, hey, just leave your kids in the car. But really, it should be legislators should back off of these kinds of laws. There are some states that are actually introducing new laws preventing parents from making these very reasonable decisions about their children.
So law or no law, there are parents out there who have criticized what you have done and said, A, your children are too young to be on their own. What is your response to them, first of all, as a parent, and how young is too young in your opinion?
Well, look, it's hard to be called lazy and a bad parent. It's never easy to hear that, but I actually I feel like what I'm doing is signaling to other moms that you shouldn't feel guilty if you pull up to a strip mall and run in and get some dog food, or as in my case, I went in to get a rotisserie chicken. The alternative was dragging my children in this store, kind of yelling at them, saying, stay with me. They were exhausted. I had done sort of what the parenting experts would approve of. I had let them free play for 2.5 hours at a park after school. They were exhausted. So my choice was to let them rest a little bit in the car. It's hard to be called lazy and a bad mother, but I think parents should know that it's okay if you trust your children, if you think they make good judgments, and if you think they're responsible enough, leave them in the car, let them rest.
But certainly you wouldn't do this with toddlers
Well, look, honestly, when my children were babies, if I pulled up to, let's say, a 7-Eleven, there was a large window you can sort of see, and I just wanted to get something very quickly, I would do that. And with the windows rolled down. Now, that might not be a choice for some people, but I thought it was okay. Look, a lot of people seem to think that, and the FBI agent actually said this to me. He said, kids get snatched all the time.
Right.
Crime is down.
It has happened in Fairfax County.
My mother used to leave me in the car she would kill me to say this on the news, but my mother kept me in the car for a lot longer, and crime was at a higher rate when I was a child. So times are safer, and yet parents feel more nervous to do these things. So I think we need to inform moms that, look, we live in safe times. Kids aren't snatched all the time.
Well, don't you think also, but it's a situation where it depends on on where you are, because
Sure.
I don't know where you, where
risks.
I grew up in a small farm town.
Right, so did I.
Where actually I think it was safer then.
Sure.
I mean, literally you knew everybody, and
Right.
so there was nothing. And I think
Right.
so. Some parents may disagree with that, and say, well, it depends on where you are and the situation.
I mean, grocery stores get robbed.
Sure, it's a
Yeah.
very good point, and I think the important thing is that everyone be allowed to make the decision that's best for them and their children. And I trust parents. I trust adults to make good judgment about these
Bottom
issues.
line, know your kid.
Yep.
Yeah. Julie Gunlock, good to talk to you. Leave it there, unfortunately. But
Thanks for
thanks for
having
coming
me.
in.
Thanks for having me.
Okay.